What's up YouTube, this is URC Shadow and welcome to a strategy guide video for level 36 Mission Coveted. And firstly, thanks to Kosakidos, Ganim Khalid and Wicked Knives for requesting this strategy guide. This will be for solo on hard difficulty, and realistically this mission is going to net you between $14,000 and $20,000, which will give you a dollar per minute payout of between $1,700 and $1,300. Now when soloing this mission it's really difficult to complete it in under 6 minutes 30, so looking at the payout graph you ideally want to be completing this mission within 6 minutes 30 to 7 minutes, or you then want to wait till 8 minutes to then complete the mission, which will give you a nice $1,800 per minute payout. It's not the best paying mission in the game, but it certainly seems to be one of the most popular. So in this video we're going to break down the mission to show you how to complete it. So if we bring up the map, this mission basically takes place in the middle of the map on the right hand side. And we're going to be on top of a hill overlooking a headland and a cove. And the basic layout is there's a whole load of SUVs, crates and enemies between us and the end of the headland. There'll be a container on the beach at the entrance to a cove, and the headland is populated with loads and loads of enemies. They're going to be using all the cover available, such as the SUVs and the crates dotted around, to try and stop us getting to it. There's an invisible line before the first SUV. As soon as we cross that line, we have 2 minutes to get to this yellow circle here, where we'll need to pick up a cargo bob. So the first thing we're going to be doing is using a sniper rifle to thin out the enemies. If you have a heavy sniper rifle, we'll be using that. Otherwise, a normal sniper rifle will do the job as well. And the general idea is going to be to take out as many enemies as you can without going across that invisible line. Once we have crossed that line, as I said, we've got 2 minutes to then get ourselves to that yellow circle, where a cargo bob will be landing. Once we've reached that circle, we're then going to use that position with our sniper rifle to take out all the remaining enemies in the area. And depending on how fast we complete it, we're then going to either wait for, or maybe it's already arrived, for the enemy cargo bob to arrive. Once it's arrived, we're going to kill the pilot, get in it, we're going to deploy our grapple hook, and fly over to the container before picking it up. And once we've picked it up, we've got a choice to make. An enemy helicopter is going to spawn and start chasing us down. So one option is to take the container back to the top of the hill where we started, set it down on the ground, land the cargo bob and take out the helicopter with a sniper rifle or a chain gun. Before picking up the container and delivering it to Lester's warehouse. Or option 2 would have been to make a break for Lester's warehouse and hope to make it before the helicopter catches up with us. So let's look at this in more detail on the ground. First thing you're going to want to do is when you start this mission, you're going to want to make sure you set the time of day to be noon. If you set it to morning or you set it to evening or night, you're going to have a lot harder time trying to snipe the enemies because the sun's going to be your eyes. So this mission is definitely easier if you set the time of day to noon. So once we started the mission, we're on top of this hill, as we saw earlier. We're going to run a little way down it to about here. Then we're going to pull out the sniper rifle and start taking out the guys we can see. Now, this can get a bit fiddly and a bit frustrating, but at the moment we're not under a time limit, so you can take your time. And keep an eye on your radar, because some guys will come up from the left hand side, from the beach down below. And you'll need to take them out, again either with a sniper rifle, or you can just use an assault rifle. Once you've taken care of them, you can go back to sniping again. And the general aim here is to take out as many of the enemies as you can from this vantage point without going up to that first SUV and triggering the 2-minute countdown. Again, watch out for guys coming up from the beach on the left hand side. If left unchecked, they will take you out, so make sure you take them out first. And just look for any heads, feet or guns, shoulders, arms that are poking out from behind the crates or the SUVs to give away your enemy's positions. Once you can't find any more enemies, you're going to want to run up to that first SUV You'll notice how the countdown has now started, so you've got 2 minutes to get to the end of the headland where the cargo bob's going to land. If you don't get there in time, you will fail the mission. So for the second part, you generally want to switch to an assault rifle, and you want to keep going from cover to cover, working your way up the headland, and effectively letting them tell you where they are once they start shooting you. As you encounter enemies, you pop up from cover, take them out, get back behind cover, and then continue moving forward. You probably want to stick to the right hand side so you don't draw the fire from the people across the water from you. At this point you can start trying to take them out with a sniper rifle, but don't let them distract you from getting to the end of the headland before the time runs out, because it's not worth failing the mission over. Looking directly across the water, there'll be some up with the SUVs, either beside them or behind them, and there'll be some on the beach by the crates. There'll also be a few guys on the beach by the container, so you want to make sure you take them out as well. But again, all the time making sure you keep an eye on that countdown so that make sure you don't fail the mission. Eventually the cargo bob should come into land at the end of the headland. You want to make your way to them. For some reason he's a really bit of a rubbish pilot and can take absolutely ages to land. And as you can see here, I was starting to run out of time, but as you get close to the cargo bob you'll notice the time disappears and you're fine to move on to the next stage. Don't try to shoot the pilot in the cargo bob before he lands, like I do here. It won't do anything other than damage the cargo bob, which is not going to help you later. Once the cargo bob finally lands, you want to take out the pilot, jump in the cargo bob, press right on the D-pad to lower the grapple hook, and fly over to the container. So once you've grabbed the container, you want to get some altitude, and this is where you've got a choice to make. As you'll notice on the minimap, a helicopter spawned and is now coming towards your position. So you can either make a break for it and fly straight to Lester's warehouse, hoping to avoid the helicopter. This tactic usually works, but isn't 100% foolproof, and sometimes that helicopter will catch up with you, taking you out and causing you to fail the mission. The best route to take if you want the best chance of avoiding that helicopter is to follow the coast, so as I'm doing here. This will cause the helicopter to navigate some of the hills and mountains on its way to you, which will slow it down and hopefully give you enough of a head start to get all the way to your destination without him catching up with you. Continue following the coast all the way until the port becomes visible, and then you want to cut across the land, cut across these dirt tracks, and then come into land at the industrial area where the drop-off point is. If you've successfully made it without the helicopter catching up with you, you've completed the mission. However, you may want to give the other option a try, which is to effectively stand your ground and take out the helicopter. To do that, you want to take the cargo bob with the container still attached to the top of the hill where you started originally. You want to set the container down, and you want to do this gently, making sure you don't put the container on its side. If you drop the container on its side, then it will be destroyed and you'll fail the mission. So you want to gently put it down, detach it, pressing right on the D-pad, and then gently land your cargo bob as fast as you can. Once you've done that, you want to get out, get your sniper rifle, and take aim at the helicopter coming towards you. Now the helicopter is going to fly relatively straight at first, but as soon as you fire your first shot, it will then lean forward and start making its way to you faster. So try and make your first shot count. Once you've taken out the pilot and the helicopter's crashed to the ground, you're then going to want to get back in your cargo bob, pick up the container again, and now you can fly to Lester's warehouse without any interruptions. Here it is again. Now, of course, sometimes you're not going to be able to take out the helicopter's pilot, either because you miss or because you're unlucky with your shots. So if the helicopter gets too close, you're going to want to switch to some other sort of shorter range weapon. If you have a minigun, I recommend you use that, but a grenade launcher or an assault rifle or combat MG should do the job, although you may take a bit of damage while you're trying to do it. And again, once you've taken out the helicopter, you can get back in the cargo bob, pick up the container, and fly uninterrupted all the way back to Lester's warehouse. And this time you can take the slightly quicker route, which is to follow the highway all the way through to Los Santos. Once you're there, just fly over to the destination point, it'll automatically drop the container, and you're done. So anyway guys, I hope you found that useful. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and please feel free to check out all my other strategy guide videos, tips and tricks videos, and flight school gold videos. Cheers guys, thanks for watching.